So behind me is a very dusty 2014 Copo Camaro that on our YouTube channel a couple years ago, we ended up putting a 106mm turbo on it, air-to-water intercooler, turbo manifolds. That's the first ever anything that I ever TIG welded. Ended up taking it to the racetrack after tuning it and made like 1400 horse on 20 pounds of boost, and it just went out and floated the valves. I couldn't make a pass or anything on it. So I got parts to fix it. We're gonna dig it out. Hopefully everything goes well and we'll be racing it next weekend. As you can see, we actually race this thing a lot, and NHRA, multiple US national races. But lately, the last, well, since 2018, see, 16 was our last US nationals. I think we raced it in NMCA till 2018, I believe it was, and then ended up parking it and quit racing it. We got the Copo in the garage and up in the air. And honestly, I do not remember this thing being this filthy, but this thing is so dirty. We've definitely put some laps on this car. You can see how much rubber is built up here in the inner fenders. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. This thing has been down the racetrack a time or two. But what I've got to do is, you see the lower transmission line, I believe it's the lower. I need to look online and check. But I need to first close this garage door because it's windy. I need to put a T in this lower hose right here, which would be this one. And what that does is puts transmission fluid into the converter. So if you limit the fluid that goes into the converter technically flashes higher. So for instance, say you have like a 3500 stall. If you put a dump valve on it and limit the fluid going to the converter, it moves your RPM range up like maybe 500. I mean, those aren't exact numbers, and all converters are different, but that's basically what we're doing. We're just loosening the converter by this fluid solenoid. So we'll put this in line right here, and what it'll do is I've got to pull the tranny out and put a bung right here, and then it will just dump fluid back into the pan, and it will limit the fluid that's going to the converter, and that helps spool this thing on the trans brake. That was one of the big problems with this car, is it would not build boost on the trans brake. Alright, that has taken me way longer than it was supposed to. Let me find my old piece. I welded this on there. And then you see the little ring. Let me look at my camera. See the little ring on there? On the right there. I tightened a fitting on there and put that groove in it. I don't think that'll ever seal up. So, cut it off. And I welded a new one on. As you can tell, welding aluminum is not something I do very well. So this is my trans brake wire. So when I hit this, trans brake activates. I think I'm gonna splice one of these into that. So whenever the trans brake is activated, it'll activate this dump valve and should be able to build boost in this thing. So. All right, we have found CO2 right there. It's got a little bit of a leak. No wonder my other bottle was empty. I still hear it leaking. But anyways, we've got CO2. Turn the ignition on. Pumps CO2 to the front. Oh, we got a problem. So when I floor it, should be pulsing CO2 to the solenoids, but it's not. Gosh dang it, I gotta get my computer. It's been so long since we did this. I'm trying to remember where these solenoids get power. I think it's from here. So we moved the entire fuse box that was up there to in the car. And these are the solenoids. I remember having a solenoid issue because I went and grabbed these solenoids. Don't know why they're not working, but here they are. They should be getting CO2 in here, and then they should pulse to either vent or add to the wastegates on each side. All right, well, for some reason, the solenoids are letting air pass, and there's 100 pounds in the wastegate right now. This dome sensor is reading 100, which is a 0 to 100 PSI sensor, so it's maxed out. The CO2 bottle's set at like 120. So something about these solenoids is, it could be backwards, I guess. I'll flip those around. Maybe those are backwards. Hold on. All right, now they're clicking. I flipped them around. Okay, so now we'll go back into the car. Let's see if I put the pedal to the floor. That's the boost controller doing its thing. we are on the dyno. Pull up some of its old runs. Made 1415, 1310, 1164. I've only ever pulled it on 23 pounds of boost and 15 degrees of timing, which is fairly low. We used to run this thing on 20 pounds of boost and almost 30 degrees of timing when I had the supercharger on it. So it should make good power. I am not going to record the first couple runs just because I'm going to turn it on to wastegate, see what it makes with no boost controller, and then make a couple pulls with the boost controller, low horsepower numbers, and then after a couple pulls, everything looks good, we'll get after it, and then I'll pick up the camera. All right, we're having a problem with dome sensor spiking. I'll show you here in a second. So I'm putting together new MAC valves, new boost control solenoid. Try to see if that's gonna fix it. I've had these on this car before and it didn't fix it. I guess I don't need all these. But maybe I fixed something and I don't know, I'm just trying stuff. All right, so basically what we got going on is there's a sensor right here in this wastegate. That's the dome sensor. So that measures how much air is in the top of this wastegate. We add boost with CO2 in the car. We add boost to these solenoids. The ECU tells the fill solenoid to fill the wastegate. If the dome sensor reads too much pressure, it tells this solenoid right here, you see this little vent filter, this one vents it, so that's how we control boost. So the dome sensor would spike, and then the turbo would try to follow that spike, and then since it was going above where it was, the vent solenoid was opening, then we were losing boost, and then the vent solenoid would be like, oh crap, we need to close, we need to make boost, and it's making the boost curve go like this in the car. So we might have fixed it, I don't know. I've never used one of these nice Holley Mac valve deals, but I don't know. See if that fixes it. Oh yeah, I need to redo this. What an idiot. Alright, let's do that again.
What was wrong?
So I was setting the dome pressure up and down, like to make it follow along to see if we needed to adjust anything. And I forgot, I had it commanding like 20 pounds and then 10 and then 30 pounds, and it needs to be a flat line. So yeah, it was only doing what it was told.
Okay.
So it still did it. See this blue line right here? That spike? That's what we're trying to fix. So it spikes that up boost spikes a little bit, and then it falls, and then boost falls because it sees the spike, and the turbo can't work that fast. So, I don't know. I've fought with this on this thing last time I had it together, and obviously it didn't fix itself just sitting. I don't know what to do to fix it, honestly. I don't know. So the turbo is a cheap, like, Chinese, I want to say it was like $1,600 or something like that. It's a VS Racing turbo. Got a big old wheel on it. It's not ideal. Thinking maybe we're having a wheel issue on the turbo. This car has always fought us, which is why we don't race it anymore. And it's still fighting. Trying to be nice to it, and it's still fighting. I think it liked that. It still did it. Alright, well, it just made 1430 or something like that. Here's what we got. So it boost spikes as soon as you left the trans brake. It hit 17.8 pounds. We're only commanding 10 on the dome, which should make around like 10 to 12. So it overboosts, and I think that's just the turbo overboosting. Then it loses the boost right here, and it gains it back, and then as you can see, it spike right here. So it gains it up, and then it drops. It's like, oh crap, I got too much boost, so it drops. And then we go back up again, and then drops back down. Air fuel staying where it should. Duty cycle on the injectors is good. I mean, everything's good. If we could figure this boost issue out. I mean, that was only 22 pounds of boost. It made 1,400. I guess on like 30 pounds of boost, it would probably make 17. All right, well, I'm trying to decide if I want to keep going on this and continue getting it ready for the event this weekend, or tackle it another day and try to figure this thing out. I've been fighting with this issue since we put this car together, and I don't know. I guess I kind of forgot about it until I put it on the dyno. But, all right, I'm going to interrupt this video real quick. Fixed the issue with the Camaro. So we ended up running a new dome sensor wiring harness, or wire, or whatever you want to call it. See, here's our old plug. We've got a whole new harness, shielded wire, and a new dome sensor. And that fixed the issue. I know I put dome sensors in it years ago trying to fix that issue. So must have been a wiring issue. We did this thing many years ago. I remember we thrashed to throw it together like we always are doing, thrashing, trying to get it to the racetrack. We ended up not even taking it to the racetrack because we didn't have it ready in time for an event that I had registered for. So yeah, we messed something up there. But made a full pull, 25 pounds of boost, made 1568. Didn't record anything because, well, I've got this video edited already and it's going to post tomorrow. So when you're watching this, this is the night before, and I'm just going to throw this in the video before I upload it. But this thing's dialed in, gonna take it, probably not enter it into small tire, and just enter it into test and tune. Small tire was running right before us, so Craig was going to drive it. I'm gonna be a little selfish and drive the car again. It's been a long time since I've driven this thing, and make a couple passes, and then maybe let Craig drive it and my dad drive it. So yeah, you will see this thing at the racetrack this weekend, May 9th and 10th at 131 Motorsports Park. I don't know what I'm going to do, but you guys will definitely find out when that day comes, because obviously this car will be in the video or it will not. But that's going to wrap it up. Be sure to head to hpdepot.com. We've got a bunch of t-shirts still in stock, 3 different styles, and we've got some hats there too. But that's going to wrap this video up. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.